concern,
concern,
concern, concern, concern.
concern, concern, concern.
My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure.
My great concern is not whether you have a failure, but whether you are content with your failure.
This matter doesn't concern you, so please stay out of it.
This matter doesn't concern you, so please stay out of it.
During 3 days, Tom was deeply concerned about the judge's condition and hungry for news of it.
During 3 days, Tom was deeply concerned about the judge's condition and hungry for news of it.
Couch,
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 couch, couch, couch.
couch, couch, couch.
I read books in my bedroom, where I have a comfortable couch, a lamp and 2 dogs to keep me warm.
I read a book in my bedroom where I have a comfortable couch, a lamp, and 2 dogs to keep me warm.
We sat on the couch and watched a movie together.
We sat on the couch and watched a movie together.
He somehow seemed dull of hearing on that important subject, and less considered from his own point of view, and, in the second place, he did not more than 1/3 understand me, couch my ideas simply as I would.
He somehow seemed dull of the hearing on that important subject, unless considered from his own point of view, and in second place, he did not more than 1/3 understand me, couch my ideas simple as I would.
Snort,
Snort,
snort, snort, snort.
snort, snort, snort.
Comedy is defiance. It's a snort of contempt in the face of fear and anxiety. And it's the laughter that allows hope to creep back on the inhale.
Comedy is defiance. It's a snort of contempt in the face of the fear and anxiety, and it's laughter that allows hope to creep back on inhale.
She tends to snort when she laughs.
She tends to snort when she laughs.
Wrinkle,
Wrinkle,
wrinkle, wrinkle, wrinkle.
wrinkle, wrinkle, wrinkle.
Nobody grows old merely by living a number of years. We grow old by deserting our ideals. Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm wrinkles the soul.
Nobody grows old merely by living a number of the years. We grow old by desert our idea. Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm wrinkles the soul.
The wrinkle on my forehead is becoming more pronounced the older I get.
The wrinkle on my forehead is becoming more pronounced the older I get.
His face was very thin and covered with a network of fine wrinkles.
His face was very thin and covered with a network of the fine wrinkles.
Protest,
Protest,
protest, protest, protest.
protest, protest, protest.
Not voting is not a protest. It is a surrender.
Not voting is not protest, it is a surrender.
The group gathered together to protest racial inequalities.
The group gathered together to protest the racial inequality.
I protest, in the sincerity of love and honest kindness.
I protest in the sincerity of love and honesty kindness.
Burning,
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 burning, burning, burning.
burning, burning, burning.
When you discover your mission, you will feel its demand. It will fill you with enthusiasm and a burning desire to get to work on it.
When you discover your mission, you will feel its demand. It will fill you with enthusiasm and burning desire to get to work on it.
I suddenly had a burning desire to create new artwork.
I suddenly have a burning desire to create new artwork. I suddenly had a burning desire to create new artwork.
A gas jet was burning, turned down low.
The gas jet was burning, turned down low.
Post.
Post.
Post. Post. Post.
Post. Post. Post.
I've worked in a factory. I was a garbage man. I worked in a post office. It's not that long ago. I like to think that I'm just a regular guy.
I worked in factory. I was a garbage man. I worked in post office. It's not that long ago. I like to think that I'm just a regular guy.
He sent the letter by post.
He sent the letter by post.
I can quite understand that he might find it difficult to post a letter unobserved. Probably he handed it to some sailor customer of his.
I can quite understand that he might find it difficult to post a letter unobserved. Probably he handed it to some sailor customer of his.
Lawn.
Lawn.
Lawn. Lawn. Lawn.
Lawn. Lawn. Lawn.
I have to say I've worked very few days of my life. I used to have to cut the lawn, and when I was in junior high school, I worked at a concession stand at a stadium.
I have to say I worked very few days of my life. I used to have to cut the lawn. And when I was a junior high school, I worked at concession stand and stadium.
I planted some flowers in the front lawn.
I planted some flower in front lawn.
He crossed the lawn and approached the gate.
He crossed the lawn and approached the gate.
Click.
Click.
Click. Click. Click.
Click. Click. Click.
The wealth of information now available at the click of a finger amazes me.
The worth of the information now available at the click of the finger amazes me.
Click the arrow to see a drop-down menu of options.
Click the arrow to see a drop-down menu option.
When she moved about, there was an incessant clicking as innumerable pottery bracelets jingled up and down upon her arms.
When she moved about there was an incessant click as innumerable pottery bracelets jingled up and down among her arms.
Stroll.
Stroll.
Stroll. Stroll. Stroll.
Stroll. Stroll. Stroll.
When I get back from a mid-morning stroll, I'll do some writing, then I'll typically spend the day testing new recipes.
When I get back from middle morning stroll, I will do some writing, then I will typically spend the day testing new recipes.
People often stroll in the park along the lake.
People often stroll in the park along the lake.
To me this looked exceedingly strange. From the wharves I strolled around and over the town, gazing with wonder and admiration at the splendid churches, beautiful dwellings, and finely cultivated gardens. To me this looked exceedingly strange. From the wharves I strolled around and over the town, gazing with wonder and admiration at the splendid churches, beautiful dwellings, and finely cultivated gardens. Prefer. 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 I would prefer even to fail with honor than win by cheating.
I would prefer even to fail with honor than win by cheating.
Although I usually prefer chocolate cake, I decided to try vanilla this time.
Although I usually prefer chocolate cake, I decided to try vanilla this time.
I'd prefer to walk, for this affair has flurried me rather.
I prefer to walk, for this appeal has prompted me later.
Crime.
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 Poverty may be the mother of crime, but lack of good sense is the father.
Poverty may be the mother of the crime, but lack of the good sense is the father. He
received 4 years in prison as punishment for the crime he committed.
He received 4 years in prison as punishment for the criminal he committed.
There has been no crime committed.
There has been no crime committed.
Cash.
Cash.
Cash. Cash. Cash.
Cash. Cash. Cash.
In the business world, everyone is paid in 2 coins, cash and experience. Take the experience first, the cash will come later.
In the business world, everyone is paid in 2 coins, cash and experience. Take the experience first. The cash will come later.
I used cash to pay for our meal.
I used cash to pay for our meal.
Now and then he stood up from the table and took some receipt or document from the little cash box he had saved from his business when it had collapsed 5 years earlier.
Now and then he stepped up from the table, took some recipe of a document from little cash box he had saved from his business when it come collected 5 years earlier.
Balloon.
Balloon.
Balloon. Balloon. Balloon.
Balloon. Balloon. Balloon.
I remember as a kid having a balloon and accidentally letting the string go and watching it just float off and into the sky until it disappeared.
I remember as a kid have a balloon and accidentally letting the string go and watch it just float up and into sky until it disappeared.
The balloon floated away in the sky.
The balloon floated away in the sky.
Hover.
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 When a dragonfly flutters by, you may not realize, but it's the greatest flyer in nature. It can hover, fly backwards, even upside down.
When a dragonfly flies by, you may not realize, but it's the greatest flyer in the nature. It can hover, fly backward, even upside down.
The bees hover over the hive to keep it safe.
The bee hover over the hive to keep it safe.
There was another thought which had been continually hovering of late about Raskolnikov's mind, and causing him great uneasiness.
There was another thought which had been continuously hovered later about the Harvey's mind, and caused him great uneasiness.
Chill.
Chill.
When I'm away from basketball, I hang out with my friends, chill, and that's about it.
When I away from basketball, I hang out with my friend chill, and that's about it.
The snack tastes better if you chill it.
The snack tastes better if you chill it.
You can hardly have forgotten that someone very closely connected with you was very nearly carried off this week in Paris by a severe chill.
You can hardly have forgotten that someone very closely connected with you was very nearly carried off this week in Paris by the severe chill.
Extend.
Extend.
It's important that we attempt to extend life beyond Earth now.
It's important that we attempt to extend life beyond Earth now.
I was having so much fun that I decided to extend my stay at the resort.
I was having so much fun that I decided to extend my stay at the resort.
The long and narrow peninsula of Malacca, extending southeastward from the territories of Burma, forms the most southerly point of all Asia.
The long and narrow peninsula of Malacca, extending southeastern from the terrorist from Burma, form the most southerly point of the Asia.
Horizon.
Horizon.
Horizon. Horizon. Horizon.
Horizon. Horizon. Horizon.
We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world, beyond the horizon.
We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world beyond the horizon.
After saying goodbye, the boy drove off into the horizon.
After saying goodbye, the boy drove off into horizon.
The sun sank beneath the horizon as we landed.
The sun sank beneath the horizon at the land.
Knuckle.
Knuckle.
Knuckle. Knuckle. Knuckle.
Knuckle. Knuckle. Knuckle.
I'm always getting injuries like bruised and bloody knuckles from catching a cymbal or the edge of a drum.
I'm always getting injuries like a drum and branded knuckle from the catching of a cymbal or the edge of the drum.
I cracked my knuckle on the table by accident.
I cracked my knuckle on the table by accident.
Kathy, this lamb of yours threatens like a bull, he said. It is in danger of splitting its skull against my knuckles.
Catch this lump of your certain like a bull, he said. It is in danger of the split its skull against my knuckle.
Distract.
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 When working, my diet degrades to pizza 3 times a day, because I don't want to distract myself from anything.
When working, my diet degrades to pizza 3 times a day, because I don't want to distract myself from anything.
Music does not distract me when working.
Music does not distract me when working.
Still in the distracted distance we beheld the tumults of the outer concentric circles, and saw successive pods of whales, 8 or 10 in each, swiftly going round and round, like multiplied spans of horses in a ring. Still in the distracted distance we beheld the tumults of the outer concentric circles, and saw successive pods of whales, 8 or 10 in each, swiftly going round and round, like multiplied spans of horses in a ring. Further.
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 If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants.
If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulder of the giant.
We walked a bit further down the road before turning back.
We walked a bit further down the road before turning back.
I have nothing further to tell you.
I have nothing further to tell you.
Eve.
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 We should make a resolution and reflect on this year on New Year's Eve.
We should make a resolution and reflect on this year on New Year's Eve.
My family usually opens gifts on Christmas Eve rather than Christmas morning.
My family usually opens gifts on Christmas Eve rather than Christmas morning.
On Christmas Eve of 1399, he entered on the possession of a house in the garden of the Chapel of the Blessed Mary of Westminster.
On Christmas Eve of 1399, he entered on the possession of the house in the garden of the Chapel of the Blessed Mary of the Westminster.
Annoy.
Annoy.
Annoy. Annoy. Annoy.
Annoy. Annoy. Annoy.
We often pardon those that annoy us, but we cannot pardon those we annoy.
We often pardon those who annoy us, but we cannot pardon those we annoy.
The boy tried to annoy his older sister by mimicking her.
The boy tried to annoy his older sister by mimicking her.
The formal monotonous ticking of the Louis XIV's clock annoyed him. Once or twice he thought of going away.
The formal monotonous ticking of the Louis XIV clock annoyed him. Once or twice he thought of going away.
Slight.
Slight.
Slight. Slight. Slight.
Slight. Slight. Slight.
Slight not what's near through aiming at what's far.
Slight not what the near thought aiming at what's far.
Although switching hotel rooms wasn't a big problem, it was a slight inconvenience.
Although switching hotel room wasn't a big problem, it was a slight inconvenience.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock.
Separate.
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 We're not separate races.
There's only one human race.
We are not separated race. There are only one human race.
The mother had to separate her children when they started fighting.
The mother had to separate her children when they started fighting.
They had been unable to decide whether they would keep together and have the things in common, or whether they would separate.
They had been unable to decide whether they would keep together and have things common, or whether they would separate.
Shudder.
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 Even thinking of the scary story makes me shudder.
Even think of the scary story makes me shudder.
Grief.
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 Denial helps us to pace our feelings of grief.
There is a grace in denial.
It is nature's way of letting in only as much as we can handle.
Denial has us to pace our feeling of the grief. There is a grace in denial. It's a natural way of the letting in only as much as we can handle.
Grief is hard to move on from.
Grief is hard to move on from.
His grief increased and he ended by being seriously alarmed at never seeing her name on the program.
His grief increased and he ended by being seriously alarmed and never seeing her name on the program.
Health.
Health.
When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, all is lost.
When health is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, all is lost.
Health has always been his top priority.
Health has always been his top priority.
The stranger has gradually improved in health but is very silent and appears uneasy when anyone except myself enters his cabin.
The stranger has gradually improved in health, but is very silent and appeared uneasily when anyone except myself entered his cabinet.
Bracelet.
Bracelet. Bracelet.
Bracelet. Bracelet. Bracelet.
Bracelet. Bracelet. Bracelet. Bracelet.
I am always wearing a bracelet, necklace, and watch. I don't even care if they don't match.
I'm always wearing a bracelet, necklace, and watch. I don't even care if they don't match.
He helped her put the bracelet on her wrist.
He helped her put the bracelet on her wrist.
She loaded herself with bracelets, rings, and necklaces.
She loaded herself with the bracelet, ring, and necklace. Bracelet.
Bracelet.
Bracelet. Bracelet.
Jewel.
Jewel.
A great poet is the most precious jewel of a nation.
The great pearl is the most precious jewel of the nation.
The trader carefully inspected the jewel.
The trader carefully inspected the jewel.
The jewel is worth at least 50,000 francs.
The jewel is worth at least 15,000 francs.